Hi, my name is Ben Marrable and I'm a Splunk Security Consultant at Somerford Associates. Today we're going to talk about using Splunk Security Essentials and its search assistance. Let's start from the home screen and navigate to Advanced, Search Assistance and start with Detect Spikes. This will load the Detect Spikes search window. To clarify what we mean by a spike, this is where a significant increase in activity has occurred outside of a normal range. For example, a large increase in the number of files a user accesses within a day. You'll notice the search bar is populated with a pipe undefined. So let's define a search. Here for internal index, looking at errors with Splunk. We're going to group the data by bucket over 1 day, and then we're going to count those errors per host. And we're going to run the search over a 30-day period. Once that search is finished, you'll see raw data previewed below, and you can now select particular fields coming out of the data. Here for data points we're looking at the count field, and for subject we're looking at the host field. We're looking at a threshold method of standard deviation where a threshold multiplier by default is over 2. If we hit the detect spikes, or automatically it's run in the background, we can see the outlier that's actually occurred here. So there is one host in this environment, which is this Raspberry Pi system, which has produced more errors than it'd normally be. With an upper bound of 43,000, it's actually hit 53,000, and that's why it's classed as an outlier. So this is how we can use this particular search wizard to define outliers and detect spikes in behavior. Next, we're going to have a look at detecting new values. So again, go to Advanced, go to Detect New Values. This is where an entity or subject has been observed conducting a new behavior. That could be a user connecting to a machine that it's never connected to before, or a system running a process that it's never run before. Let's paste in a search for authentication events to systems so that we can look for new users that are accessing systems for the first time. Here we're using the data model for authentication, and we're looking over a 1-day period, so we're going to look for 30 days. We're going to hit search. Once that search is complete, we can scroll down to see the raw data preview, and you can start using the filters. Here we're looking for the primary field being the subject, in this case the user, and the secondary field being the destination to which they're logging onto. This then gives us the number of different outliers where we're seeing first events between these two pairings. In addition, what you can also do is add peer groups. This is where you might be in a DevOps team and you might be a new recruit and you're logging onto a machine that the DevOps team would normally log onto. That's not really worthy of being notified about. So we're using peer group analysis in this sense to be able to do that. You would have to have a field that told you, or a lookup that told you what that user, which peer group they were in. And then also what we can do is create an actual lookup cache. So this will allow us to run what's known as a tracker and constantly update that tracker over time on a regular occurrence, so that we don't have to look for a large span of data to know when someone's logged onto a machine for the first time. We can just see in the lookup the last time that they logged on, the first time that they logged on, and constantly being updated with the last time they've ever logged on to that machine. But we'll always know that they logged onto that machine a year ago. Maybe that's a different use case, but ultimately it's not a new user, a user logging onto a machine for the first time. So very key to understand. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to know more about Splunk for security, contact us at info@somerfordassociates.com.